Is Tuesday. Tuesday, May the 7th. You know what I mean? Things are ticking along well. I got a lot of work to do. Don't we all have a lot of work to do? I'm in a bit of a predicament right now. One I find myself in pretty frequently. I got to go to the laundromat and I got to do that today. You know what I mean? Like, because there's stuff that I want to do. Like, I want to get a good workout in, but I have so little clothes that it's difficult to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I need the proper stuff. So, not too much longer after this live stream, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my ass to the laundromat, get it done. Gotta wash the clothes, need some drawers. Tuesday, and indeed it is Tuesday. But yeah, man, I gotta wash everything. I gotta wash towels. It's just one of them days, like I can't put the shit off anymore. So I'm gonna get that done. Usually, if you see me coming on here with a tank top, it's probably because I just need to go to the laundromat. Because while there is nothing wrong, um, my bad, I was getting a text. While there is nothing wrong, with wearing a tank top, I typically like to wear a little more than this. Like maybe something a bit more stylish. I'm still on broke boy status, but I'm not that low on broke boy status. So it's levels to the brokenness. So we got to move on up. We got Lord of Bananas. We got Teddy. Look at the trees. What's going on? Speaking of the trees, I am uh quite stoned at the moment. So let's go ahead and run through everything. You know what I'm saying? And when you gotta make weight, you gotta do that like hold on, like in a couple days. If it's 3 pounds, that shit that might be steep if you gotta do that quickly. But yeah, no, I know you said you 6 foot, right? So we got Bibliophile in the building. Libby, thank you so much for 7 months of membership. Thank you so much. I truly, truly, genuinely appreciate that. I appreciate all of y'all for just believing in me, rocking with me, and being along for the journey. Because as you've seen, it is not for nothing. We moving along and things are getting better. So I look forward to continuing to push everything out and just make this a bigger platform that people can really utilize and take advantage of for numerous resources. Oh, 3 weeks, 3 pounds. Oh yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. Right, what's going on? But yeah, no, it's a pretty good day. What's the temp? It's 77 degrees outside, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty nice. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. You said I can watch hoes online for free. It's plenty of that going on, you know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta appreciate the times that we live in. Speaking of that, I think I saw something about Texas like banning porn or something. I don't know exactly how that works because I'm pretty sure that people in Texas can still log on and get plenty of spank. Um, I don't know though. So, but we'll see what's up. I got some stories pulled up, but I'm not about to pay. I'm not about to pay for membership on this site. So give me a sec. Let me pull this up on something else. Let's start off with Marjorie Taylor Greene. We got more and more Republicans that are apparently a little fed up. Not very happy with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Hold on, let's see what's up with this. So let's see what her demands are because she's trying to get Mike Johnson up out of here. In bid to oust Speaker Johnson, Marjorie Taylor Greene shares her demands. Trump weighed in on Greene's efforts to oust Johnson. I'm pretty sure Trump was like, "Hey, can you get us a little bit of a rest? Can you get us a break? Because I'm not only am I trying to win office, but I want a little bit of help when I get there. Because it's looking like Trump is still in good standings to become president again in the scheme of things. But the rest of the Republican Party really is not. So he was like, Marjorie, you wanna tame it down a little bit? Ahead of her meeting with Speaker Mike Johnson on Tuesday, Republican Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene shared her list of demands for the Speaker amid her push to oust him from the House's top job. Greene's four requests include the following. Hold on, which she said were simple and easy for Mike Johnson to follow in a post on X. Include a return to the Hastert rule, which means no legislation is brought to a vote without the support of the majority party. No more funding for Ukraine. Defund the special counsel's probe into former President Donald Trump and avoid a government shutdown before the election by passing a continuing resolution to automatically enact a 1% spending cut. I mean, that's just not going to happen. Distracted Garden, what's going on? How you doing today? Yeah, I don't know who the hell MTG thinks she is. I think that her sense of self probably fluctuates quite a bit, or I don't know. Actually, no, I don't think that's true. Her sense of reality probably fluctuates a lot, but she seems to be pretty confident in herself. So I don't really. Oh, we got Hassan. What's going on, man? What's going on, brother? How you doing? It's always good to have you here. But yeah, I mean, clearly this, this type of stuff isn't going to happen. I mean, like, what, a 60% of the majority party ain't nothing gonna get passed ever. I mean, that's not even necessary. Like, we don't even need this. You know what I mean? Like, the Senate is already the place where legislation goes to die. They call it that for a reason. This is like the most unproductive session of Congress ever, if not the most unproductive session of Congress, one of them, top three for sure. So, I mean, so obviously, clearly, this shit, not even is this not good. Not only is this not going to happen, this isn't even needed. Uh, no more funding for Ukraine. That's more reasonable in a sense of something that people probably across the board, not necessarily everybody, but this is more like rational. This is more understandable. People across the left and the right political spectrum could agree to this more or less. Not everybody will, but a lot of people, again, all I'm getting at is this is more like normal. This is more reasonable. And then we got defund the special counsel's probe into former President Donald Trump. Now, again, I gave her a little bit of credit for at least having some type of like worthy demand, I guess. And then we continue on to more complete nonsense. Just stop the probe into Trump. Just let him go. Just let him off the hook. Who needs a trial? Who needs to go through all this BS? Because Donald Trump, he doesn't need this right now. He needs to be on the trail, the campaign trail, not paying for his actions. That's what he needs. That's what we need as a country. Okay, and then avoid a government shutdown. Okay, we're starting off decently, but the last government shutdowns I remember that took place was under Donald Trump. Um, and then we got for a continuing resolution to automatically enact a 1% spending cut. Like, again, like what 1% where? Like, where are we cutting this? Because that 1% is it's a big number in the scheme of things, but it's a small number in the scheme of things as well. So, like, what are we talking about right now? Defund Social Security. Ain't nobody gonna be trying to hear that bullshit. But what are we really talking about? So again, this is just completely ridiculous. I don't know what her point is. I don't know what she's getting at other than attention, really. I mean, what else is she possibly getting from this other than attention to herself? I still don't see what the point of getting rid of Kevin McCarthy was. I really don't see what the point of that was. But here we are. Quote, it would be a huge win for our Republican majority, and most importantly, a huge win for the people who gave it to us. Okay, let's continue. Johnson and Green are set to meet for a second time today This afternoon, after Johnson said he had a lengthy constructive meeting with both Green and Republican Rep. Thomas Massey on Monday. The meeting, which lasted nearly 2 hours, came as Green has said she will force a vote to remove Johnson from the leadership post this week. Johnson said his series of meetings with Green and Massey are not a negotiation. So he said, I'm not really interested in doing any of this. It's not a this is from Mike Johnson. He says, it's not a negotiation at all. What we're trying to do, and what my job is to everyday improve processes, procedures, our policy preferences, our legislation, and make sure that we can build the right consensus to get everybody together, Johnson said at the weekly GOP news conference today. Asked if he would defund the special counsel's probe into Trump as Green requested, Johnson did not rule it out. I don't really I don't really expect him to do that. I mean, if he did, I guess I wouldn't be surprised, but also it would be like, why? You know. But we'll see. We're looking very intently at it because I think the problem has reached a crescendo. What does that? It doesn't mean anything. He just had to say something. For the first time publicly, Johnson said he intends to remain the leader of the House Republican Conference in the future. Quote, I intend to lead this conference in the future, and the most important thing we have to do right now is govern the country well. Govern the country well. Show the American people that we are, and that's what we have been doing. Um, where are we? The Georgia Congresswoman said last week. All right, we already said that. She said she going through with it. She just gonna go ahead and go through with trying to get him up out of here. Ah, man, my allergies. It's a nice day, but my allergies are not going crazy, but they're sniffling just a little bit. Got me sniffling just a tidbit. Okay. Trump spoke privately to Green over the weekend and urged her to drop her push to oust Johnson. A source close to the president confirmed to ABC News during their discussion. Trump told Green that the party needs to be unified, according to the source. The former president's team has mulled over how best to show support for Johnson. Trump brought Johnson on stage at the RNC Spring Retreat luncheon over the weekend and praised him, quote, for his leadership and work in the U.S. House, emphasizing the need for party unity, collaboration, and expanding the GOP's House majority. I mean, yeah, I don't care how Looney Tunes you are. I mean, after a certain point, you can't do everything by yourself. And again, like I said, while Donald Trump is still in a position to where he could become president again in a handful of months. If he gets there and he doesn't have the House or the Senate, then there's not going to be nearly as much as he could do if he at least had one of the chambers. And it's not looking good for Republicans overall, mostly because of this abortion bullshit. I mean, they got other issues too. Their general stubbornness with their sticking it to the libs culture, um, their overall bad policies that they haven't changed their tune on for decades. But more than anything else, really, is this abortion shit. Ain't nobody feeling this bullshit, but they are determined to pass these bans and to pass this legislation through. So we got some Republicans who are not happy with Marjorie Taylor Greene because again, this is a bit of a waste. Oh man. Nah, I don't think. I personally think that Republicans are I think the trend of them losing generally is going to continue because of everyday policies. That's how I don't see that changing. It could, but I don't. I don't think so. Okay, so hold on. Do we have? Okay, here we go. We got Senate GOP smites Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ridiculous, chaos, foolish, turmoil. I mean, again, I don't really think it makes a difference for her. As long as her district wants her to be in office, then I don't really see her stopping this. Maybe if Donald Trump were to push her hard enough, but she says she's gonna go forward with trying to get Mike Johnson up out of here. So if she does that, then you know, I guess she gonna have to stick with it. Yeah, that she got famous off Facebook. That is, I recently like I got on Facebook a few days ago just for like the marketplace. Looking for like places, little temporary apartments and stuff while I get some stuff together. And that is like absolutely the perfect place for someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene. You get on there and it's like you realize people mostly just keep up with their family members and their close friends on here. I don't know nothing about Facebook no more. I don't know how to use Facebook I don't know how none of that shit works. Marjorie Taylor Greene is making the Republican Party look ridiculous. Man, I think realistically, Ted Cruz is he's always in a good position to win because he's such a useful idiot to the Republican establishment. Man, I hope we can get him up out of here because, god damn. Okay, so in exclusive interviews with 22 Republican U.S. senators, Ross Story found a trend ranging from annoyance to anger to alarm over the Georgia Republican Congresswoman's plan to formally deploy her motion to vacate House Speaker Mike Johnson this week. Quote, I think it's ridiculous, it's counterproductive, and frankly just foolish. Senator Ted Cruz told Raw Story, blowing up the speakership undermines conservative principles profoundly. Yeah, because Ted Cruz is such a principled man. You know, the way he'll just Ted Cruz ain't principled to nothing but the dollar bill. That's the only thing that he's principled towards with his bitch ass. He is such a he's just so ugh. The way he just bends over backwards for Donald Trump. The way that he just pushes forth so much corruption, the way he's just so disingenuous, the way he just is a liar and ugh. Last week, Green told Raw Story, and we just went through this. And this is Senator Mark Wayne Mullen from Oklahoma. He said, it's stupid and it's selfish on her part. It's either one, a political stunt, or two, selfish on her part. It's both. She just getting attention. But I mean, she wasn't part of the group that got rid of Kevin. She wasn't one of the eight that got rid of Kevin McCarthy, if I recall correctly. I don't think she was. But now she like, nah. She was just waiting for her opportunity to get a bit more radical with it, I guess. I guess that's what she was waiting for. Right. He one of them people that he just clearly looks better with a beard, but also with the beard, it's like, like he's just fucked, man. Ted Cruz is just screwed. He crossed way too many lines, and now any and everything he does is just gonna be scrutinized. Just one of those things. Like, hey, at least he's rich, man. At least he's found an audience, and more important than an audience, at least he's found a group of handlers who will keep his pockets full of corrupt money. Okay, we just read through this. Certain individuals tear us apart. So this really is just more more Republicans who are expressing their dissatisfaction. But again, more than anything else, what's causing Republicans issues at the polls is this abortion bullshit, these abortion bans, the reversal of Roe, them standing 10 toes down on it. That more than anything else, that's going to continue to be their issue. And again, like the descheduling of marijuana from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3, like that's not going to move people that you didn't already have. Like people can look at that and be like, okay, that's decent. But like if you're not thick in the weeds of politics and procedure and legislation, then like what difference does that really make to you? People smoke weed every day. And it's recreationally legal in a lot of states. So now a lot of people are smoking weed and ain't worried about it like how you used to. I remember when I mean, I'm only 32, but not that long ago, shit, when I was living in I moved to New Jersey when I was 24. And before I moved here, I mean, even during when I moved here, I remember like if you got pulled over with weed, like that could be a problem for you. When I lived in St. Louis, Missouri's recreationally legal now. And Missouri's a very red state. I remember when I was in Missouri, I used to go through all types of hoops, man. I wasn't leaving no stones unturned to make sure if I got pulled over, I wasn't gonna get caught with whatever the fuck I had. So my point being, you got to do more than that. You got to go harder than that, man. Okay, now let's see. We got something with Brian Kilmeade. What does he have to say now? What does he have? What is Brian Kilmeade talking about? Brian Kilmeade blown away by Trump loyalists testifying at hush money trial. How great must it be to work for Donald Trump? Let's see. I haven't listened to this, so let's see what he's talking about.
So far, no witness here has testified that the former president was involved in that alleged election plot to try and subvert the 2016 election, or that it had anything to do with filing any alleged false business instruments, which is the heart of this case. A new witness in about 2.5 hours. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Eric, exciting times. Hopefully, with a couple more weeks, we won't be bothering anymore. Thank you, Eric. Sean, just a quick thing to add, just noteworthy. How great must
Hassan, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He said, next time you see Sharon Reed, tell her I'm going to use her viral moment at work when the time is right. And that will be the last word. I'm going to tell her. I'm sure I'm going to see. I'm sure I'm going to see Sharon Reed soon. Oh yeah. I tried to ask her out. It didn't work. You know what I'm saying? But I went for it. You got to shoot your shots. You feel me? I ain't ashamed to admit. You feel me? Shit, I'm probably gonna ask her out again at some point. You know what I'm saying? But you got to try. You feel me? But yeah, thank you. I appreciate the $10 super chat, and appreciate you for being here. Haven't seen you in a minute. Glad to know that you're still out here kicking.
it be to work for Donald Trump? Whatever people say on the outside, you have Rana, who was there forever. Rana Graff. And then you have this COO say one of the hardest things I had to do was quit after 36 years because the court cases were coming up too fast and furious. You have Hope Hicks, who looks back at those days working for Trump and gets misty-eyed because she feels such a loyalty to him. You have a CFO sitting in Rikers Island for the second straight time because he refuses to make up lies about the guy he worked for and would go back and work for him again. So whatever you say about Trump and his organization.
Bro, these people are so dumb. Like they're so comically like just non-thinking with their assessments of stuff because I like I can't really think of anybody else who is talked about like this other than when you're in cult status. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like it's like you can't. Oh well, everything's so great. People just love working for the guy. Like really, dude. Like so again, that insinuates that all of this is fake. Like Trump's totally innocent. It's what, are you fucking 7 years old? Like, who cares? Why you care so much? You know what I mean? And again, it's the total difference on the opposite side. The Democratic Party can and will survive without Joe Biden. No matter what happens in 2024, the Democratic Party is going to be okay. A lot of it because there's so much room for new people within the Democratic Party. There just is. But in the Republican side, Man, it's gonna take them a minute to pick up the pieces without Donald Trump. Because regardless, I mean, he ain't gonna be on the throne forever. He's not, and he still could lose in 2024. But even if he wins, like at some point, that's gonna have to come to an end. So this shit is so dumb. Like, who cares?
To do is quit after 36 years because the court cases were coming up too fast and furious. You have Hope Hicks, who looks back at those days working for Trump and gets misty-eyed because she feels such a loyalty to him. You have a CFO sitting in Rikers Island for the second straight time.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm at that age now, you feel me, where I can I can do a little bit of whatever I'd like. You feel me? But sometimes you just know it's like, look, this what I got to offer right now. You want it or you don't. And sometimes hey, it just is what it is, man. You still got to play on the playground a little bit more. You feel me?
Because he refuses to make up lies about the guy he worked for and would go back and work for him again. So whatever you say about Trump and his organization, it's a big success, and he treated everybody there like family.
Well, pretty much everyone in his organization was his family members, because at the end of the day, it's like, how many people even work for the Trump organization? It wasn't never a big organization. It was always kept very small. One of the key reasons why the organization was primarily kept small is because they did so much fraud, and if everyone knew, then they were more likely to get caught or snitched on or whatever. You feel me? So it's just like it's so ridiculous. Like when 10 years go by, y'all y'all gonna have to talk about this. Like all of these people are gonna be asked about this, like in interviews. You remember how you just never stopped licking Trump's boots? You remember that? How that never came to an end? How that never came to a close? Like, what the fuck are you gonna say? We got Christy Noem. We got several things with Christy Noem. Because she did, I mean, she did not need to use that. I shoot my dogs. That's how you know I'm ready for the big leagues. Okay, Christy, you really didn't need to tell everybody that, but it's okay. Jesse Waters confronts Christy Noem on dog shooting tale. Do you understand why people don't like that story? Oh, Jesse Waters asking somebody else if they have any insight into themselves, because as we know, Jesse Waters has so much insight into himself.
What happens if you are debating Kamala Harris?
God, he's just so dumb. It's like he can say 5 words and it's just like, oh God. And he's never ever he's one of those guys who's never serious, as a subtle way to try to cover up that he's stupid, like, so it's like, hey, like, I'm gonna say something dumb because I don't know shit. So I'm just gonna be silly all the time so that it doesn't come off quite as rough, like that's Jesse Waters. And luckily for him, he managed to make a pretty decent career out of it. And also, luckily for him, he found a woman who didn't run away after him stabbing her tires, although she may not have known that for quite some time. Let that come out later on. But my guess is that if he would do something like that relatively early, oh God, I can only imagine. But he's just he's so he made a hell of a career out of being dumb.
What happens if you are debating Kamala Harris and she says, well, wait a second, you...
Yes, exactly. He's literally on TV to be dumb. Like, he's that guy. Like,
shot your dog and you wrote a book about it, bragging about it. How can you be...
And he's obviously so, like, you can tell, like, he has a kink for like making people angry. So like, he just seems like one of those guys that you just can't like him, because he just doesn't really want you to like him, and I get being a little provocative here and there, but he takes it like to a whole nother level.
The vice president.
That story was a choice as a mom. The safety of my
Oh, I agree, Teddy. I think Jesse Waters is that dumb, and luckily for him, he managed to be around when Fox News was doing its thing and got found by them, because I think he gets like he makes like $8 million a year or something like that. I mean, that's some serious money. That's more than enough money to make. That's more than enough money to make way more money. Like, that's how much he gets paid from Fox. But he definitely makes more money than that, because when you make that much money, you can afford to lose money. Like, you can afford to lose it. So you can invest in this and that and that and this. And it's like, oh, this month I lost $57,000, but I made 435,000, so it was a net gain of, like that. That's when you really on baller status. But no, Jesse Waters is 100% that stupid. And how fitting is it for Fritza to come in when Jesse Waters is on the screen? Matter of fact, Fritza, let me rewind it for you just a little bit so you can look at him while he's looking at you. You see him? He's checking you out, Fritza. He's scanning the he's scanning the airwaves.
Vice President.
That story was a choice as a mom. The safety of my children versus a dangerous dog that was killing livestock and attacking people. So this book that I've written is full of stories of my past, hard decisions, and I told the truth. And I think that's very different than a lot of politicians.
Yeah, again, like you would think that you tell a story like hard decisions from the past, that would be more like, we got Mayor in the building, we got yeah, Fritz, exactly. Yeah, I look at how beautiful the timing was. Mayor, good to have you here. We got Alonzo in the building. What's going on, brother? But yeah, again, like I was saying, you would think that like a typical like hard, like tough decisions I had to make would be like, when I was younger, I got pregnant at a time that was just really confusing and I had to get an abortion. And that's why I can relate to the like, those are the types of things that are more fitting. Or like, when I was younger, I lost a loved one, or recently I lost a loved one, or I have to live every day with this physical illness, or I've been in and out of the hospital for these types of mental ailments. Those are the types of things that, people will connect with. Not, well, I shoot my dog in the head instead of taking it to be euthanized humanely. Like, I mean, it's just, and I think in one of these interviews I got pulled up, apparently she gets angry, but you the one who decided to not only put it in the book, but take out the excerpt and be like, hey, check this, look at this, like, check this out. Most people won't shoot dogs, but I will. That's not really a flex. I don't know if that's something you should be bragging about, because there's a lot of things most people won't do because they're not psychopaths. Like, there's certain lines people won't cross because they're functioning.
Politicians that we have today.
Do you regret telling that story? Do you feel like, oh, maybe I should have said it? Do you understand why people don't like that story?
Well, everybody's known that story for years. That's what most people don't realize, is that in South Dakota, they've used that story to attack me in my political campaigns for years. I wanted people to know the truth. This dog was vicious. It was dangerous. It was killing livestock for the joy of it and attacking people. And I had a choice between keeping my family safe. I had little kids at the time, a very public business of inviting people out.
She from South Dakota. You could have just let the dog go and let it roam free in a patent office plan. But you're in South Dakota, where like that has a population of like 7 people. Like, no one lives in South Dakota. You could have taken the dog to another farm. There's so many things you could have done.
To come out and enjoy our hunting lodge and our business, and I don't pass my responsibilities off to anybody.
It's on that. Oh, I couldn't afford to raise the baby, so I threw it away. This is that type of shit.
Else. So that story's in the book because I want people to know that I'm honest, and that when I have difficult jobs, that I take responsibility myself.
All right, so you're standing by the dog story.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's the facts.
Okay,
that's the facts, and I understand that they're attacking me for it.
That's exactly what she said. The dog deserved it. Fuck that dog, man. Fuck that dog. That dog was causing me and my family problems, so I had to do something about it. You know what I mean? Like, what was I supposed to just take it to the vet? Was I supposed to just take it to a shelter? No, I had to fucking do something about it. I had to, demonstrate. I had to fucking spread a message. Let these motherfuckers know you don't play with me like that. Because if you do, this is what happens. Right? She didn't need to talk about it. And now I think in one of these, oh yeah, what was this? Okay, yeah, this is what with her on Stuart Varney, but we gonna look at that after this because now she was on Newsmax, and he said, yeah, South Dakota, and honestly, that's one of the nice things about the South Dakota. There's not a lot of people there. It's one of those places. If that's the lifestyle for you, what a great place to be, you know. But yeah. So here we go again. Another example of MAGA just being. They act like children whose brains haven't fully developed. Like when you're dealing with someone who's like 9 or like okay, raise that number up. Like you're dealing with someone who's like 20 or 17 and they think like a 17-year-old. They think like this is how these people think, except they're like 60 or older. They've been around the sun many times. Newsmax host asked Christy Noam if her book editor was a liberal plant who inserted unflattering stories. And it's like, this is hilarious because this is hilarious for a few reasons, right? One is if this was true, then this doesn't make her look good. It makes her look completely incompetent. Obviously, we know this isn't true. But if it was, then she's completely incompetent and doesn't know who's working for her. I mean, how many people were a part of this book? I mean, but well, come on, like not that many people had to have been a part of this. And then on the flip side, it's hilarious because clearly this isn't true, but it's like you're going through this much of drastic lengths to just be like, no, Republicans don't make mistakes. But this dude, this is Newsmax, and this guy is a giant man baby.
Governor, I've also written a couple of books, and I know how the process.
Oh, he's written books. Oh, I wonder. What we should start doing? We should buy some of these books written by people like this and spend episodes where we just skim through some of the chapters. I can't imagine how unbelievably corny and patriotic his book has to be.
It works. You write some chapters. You don't write the whole book at once. You write a chapter or two. You send it to the editors, and they edit. They read it. They add. They subtract. And here's my question: the editor, was she possibly a plant, a liberal plant? Because I'm not sure either one of these stories.
He's like trying to help her, but at the same time, he's like, "You fucking idiot! There's no way you did this, right? This can't be something that you would have done."
Dog story.
Like, regardless, it's insulting.
The North Korea story seems like the Christy Noam I know.
No, the buck always stops with me. I take my own full responsibility. I wrote this book, and I take the responsibility for what's in it. It's a great book, Eric. I hope everybody reads it and buys it. It's available tomorrow, no going back. It's a powerful book, and it tells a lot of things at the end of these chapters about really what people can do to get involved, that their voice matters, their vote matters, but also that it talks about money in politics and how that's an important part of politics, but it's being spent wrong, what they can do to push back on consultants who are in this game just to get rich.
I'll spend the money on them, Fritz. I'll do that, you know what I'm saying, so that we can blame me for anything that these people sign into law. Then my dollar bills helped it happen and not y'all's. But we got to do that because honest, like, what's the dude's name? What's the guy's name? Mark Levin, who's on Fox News. The dude, well, he has a book that says something like "Why Democrats Hate America." Like, can you imagine how unhinged that book has to be? It has to be unbelievably entertaining and hilarious. We got to do that.
How their phone calls and their emails make a difference. This world is still run by people who show up, and that I will always fight for the people of South Dakota. I will always fight for the people that I'm elected to represent them and have the hard conversations that we need to protect our freedoms and our liberties.
Okay, I think now we got one where she getting frustrated. This is the last one for Kirsty Norm today, but now we got one where she's a bit frustrated. She's tired of people bringing this up, even though she didn't need to write about it. Oh no, it's hornet season. Yeah, no. See again, I will run from some hornets with no shame. You can laugh, you can say whatever you want about me. I do not care. If there's a large hornet or wasp, I'm running. You right, Fritza. And speaking of laundry, I'm doing it after this episode because I gotta do it. Like I gotta get it done. You need to stop. Christy Noam loses it at Fox host for repeatedly asking about puppy killing.
You know, this is a wonderful book. Did you read the book?
Not yet.
Oh, you should. The first
But
chapter.
the question stands,
The whole first
if you were
chapter.
writing it today,
Yes, I'm
would
proud
you
of this
include
book.
the dog story?
I'm proud of this book. If you read the
So you
first
would?
chapter, it's all about when this rioting started. When you turn on the news today and all you see that's happening on these college campuses and what's going on with supporting Hamas and the pro-terrorist organizations, the first chapter in this book covers the riots that happened at the RNC at the White House and how that started with Antifa and the fact that this president that's in the White House, Joe Biden, will not shut this down and that they're chanting
Our book finna be a bunch of BS.
hatred towards the Jewish people and exterminating them. That's what people should
Her book should be titled "My Generic Republican Opinions" by Christy Noam.
be talking about, Stuart.
Your political
and so I know
judgment
that
is
I
being
know that a
questioned.
lot of people are using attacks and trying to take me down because they're scared of me.
I
Listen,
haven't
I've
heard
run
anybody
12
support
campaigns and all
you.
I've done is one.
I've not
I
heard
win everything
anybody
that I do. and what I
support
say-
you on shooting the dog.
I'm honest. Well, I've heard a lot of people.
Nobody.
I've heard a lot of people that say, listen, this was 20 years ago.
We're
50
consumed
states.
with emails. We
50
put this on the
states
show.
have a law in
we know
the
you're going to be
books.
on, and we've
Oh,
been
my
consumed
goodness.
with emails saying, "I won't vote for this person. I won't vote for Trump if he puts her in the vice presidential spot."
Well, I'll tell you, Stuart, I'm sorry you're not hearing from real Americans that live on farms and ranches. Because if every state has a law in the books that allows for animals that are killing
I
livestock.
said, Stuart, you have a British accent. Shut up. You don't have the right to make comments about none of this shit.
And attacking people to be handled this way.
Okay.
And so I made a decision as a mom and I'm a grandma that the safety of my children.
Yes, exactly. The Drake of Republicans. Everybody finally coming forth to be like, you're fucking weird. You know that, right? Like, I know you got all this going on, but you're strange.
Safety of people was what I needed to decide on, basis protecting them from a very dangerous animal.
Okay, I'll move on to something much more positive. We've seen you in commercials for South Dakota.
Yes.
They're a success, I believe. You brought in, how many, 78% more plumbers?
Yes.
60% more electricians?
Yes.
That's in your commercials?
Those commercials that we've been running was to bring workers to our state. Our state is growing and thriving. Our wages are going up. New businesses have moved in. They've loved the freedom and the liberty we have in South Dakota. And yes, you probably saw the electrician commercial where I'm a lousy electrician and shut off the lights on the Capitol. And because of that, in the last 6 months, we've had a 78% increase in licensed electricians that have moved into our state that have gone through our licensing board. We've had an incredible increase of plumbers that have come in to meet our needs. Now I've got a new ad up that's talking about home builders and construction workers, and it's just been incredible to see the amount of feedback and people that are moving to our state to take opportunity of those jobs and to live like we do in South Dakota.
Do you still think that you are in line to be Trump's vice president?
No, it's up to Donald Trump.
That just goes to show you how high of a status dogs really got it. See, man, dogs got it figured out. Like when a dog is in a decent home, they just got it made. They don't got to do nothing. They don't got to worry about bills. They don't got to think about nothing going on in the world. They're happy They are happy. They could see you. You leave, you come back 15 minutes later, and it's like they haven't seen you in forever. It's just the best, the greatest thing. Like a dog's life is quite great. Ah, the price of intelligence.
Trump. He's the only person who will decide this.
You've spoken
He's
to
the
him, I
only
think.
person who will decide. And I spoke. Yes, I do speak to him.
May I ask what he
Yes.
said to you about
Yes.
being
no,
vice
I
president?
I never tell anybody my personal conversations.
Did the
with
dog story
President
come up in a
Trump.
conversation
I
with
talk
Trump?
to President Trump all the time.
About the dog?
About a lot of things. And right
About
now,
the
I tell
dog.
you what, he is being persecuted in a political witch hunt in this court case. So
Did he
I'm
bring
proud
up
of
the
him
dog?
about how tough he is and how well he is doing.
Did you bring up
yes,
the dog? with
enough,
Trump?
Stuart.
With Trump? Did you
This
bring up the
interview
dog
is
with Trump?
ridiculous, what you were doing right now.
I don't
so
think
you
so.
need to stop. It is.
Okay.
It is.
We'll
Let's
stop.
talk about some real topics that Americans care about.
I'm afraid we're out of time.
Oh, well, of course we
But
are.
we do thank you for being with us. I know I pressed hard, but that's what people are talking about
No.
to this day.
Yeah,
Gotta know? Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
you bet.
Okay, what we got here? Christy Noam now refuses to say whether she actually met Kim Jong-un.
So you're standing by the dog story.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's the facts.
Okay,
That's the facts. And I understand that they're attacking me for it, Jesse.
Yeah, they are. So they're also attacking you. I guess you said you met Kim Jong-un. Did you meet him?
I've been to the DMZ. I've been to North Korea. You know, I don't talk about my conversations with world leaders. And so when I looked at the book and I saw that excerpt, I decided to make the change to the content of the book, and that's been done.
So you didn't have a conversation with Kim when you were at the DMZ?
I don't have conversations about my conversations with world leaders. I've been working on policy for 30 years, Jesse, and that's what most people don't remember about me is I'm old. I'm a mom. I'm a grandma. I've got 3 little grandbabies.
You're not that old. So maybe you did have a conversation with Kim, but you don't want to talk about it.
I will not talk about my personal conversations with any world leaders. It just won't, and I'm not going to do it.
Yo, I don't think that this book tour is gonna go well for her at all, because I agree. I think that Stuart Varney was kind of being annoying, but I think that I think that that's kind of how it's gonna go, especially given the fact that what it seems, obviously she'll tell her story. I'm sure she'll tell different bits and pieces of her background, how she grew up, how she came to be where she is, how she got involved in politics. But it seems like a lot of it's going to be just, again, generic Republican opinions about what's happening right now. So she mentioned a lot about the student protests. So, like, clearly she probably has a lot to say about that. So, I don't, what, that would have seemed like what she would have wanted to talk about, like on the airwaves, instead of this dog stuff. Or perhaps, like how she got into how many plumbing jobs came to South Dakota. But I don't think that's how it's going to go for her. I really don't. I think people are just kind of going to fuck with her. But hey, even if it was, at the end of the day, that you're a public official, so that, I mean, honestly, that's just how shit's gonna go for you, no matter what. There's always gonna be people who fucking with you, but um, her own people fucking with her. All right. Pennsylvania House advances 2 bills that would help reduce maternal morbidity and mortality. Excuse me. 2 measures that are part of a package of bills designed to decrease maternal morbidity and mortality in Pennsylvania passed the state house yesterday afternoon. The Momnibus package, I like that. The Momnibus package of 8 bills was introduced by the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus. The first measure, which passed unanimously, would require medical coverage for doula services during pregnancy, labor and delivery, and up to 1 year postpartum. It would also establish a doula advisory board within the State Department of Human Services. Quote, doulas are non-medical professionals trained to give physical and emotional support in childbirth, explains State Rep Morgan Safis. They offer constant, uninterrupted attention and encouragement during the birthing process. As a new father and somebody that utilized doula services in the pregnancy of my son, I want to recognize the importance of these services for all new parents across our Commonwealth. Said State Rep Ryan McKenzie, who is a Republican from Lehigh County or Lehigh County. The second measure would require Medicaid and Children's Health Insurance Program, which is CHIP, coverage for home blood pressure monitors within 1 year of delivery or the end of pregnancy. Quote, 1/3 of maternal deaths are caused by high blood pressure, said State Rep Latasha D. Mays, who's a Democrat from Allegheny County, who co-chairs the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus. Quote, it can present as preeclampsia, preeclampsia, which is one of the most dangerous forms of high blood pressure that affects the organs. When we make these blood pressure monitors available, we combat the adverse and fatal effects of hypertension and high blood pressure. Both bills now head to the state senate, so we'll definitely keep our eyes on this. But stuff like this is going to continue to be. Um, oh yes, of course I didn't. But today I'm doing my laundry though. Today I'm doing it after this, just so I can just go ahead and get it done because I got other stuff to do. I got other stuff to do this week, and it's only Tuesday, so I might as well just get it done now. I also don't feel like washing anything in the sink. I've been doing that, and now I can't do that today. Okay, now you know sometimes when you got too much money, ain't nobody, man. Ain't nobody finna buy this bullshit, man. A $454 million French castle. Look at these rooms. Okay, like so yeah, this is a cool piece of like property in real estate, but like ain't bro, like who the fuck wants to live in some shit like this? Like look at the because it looks like how it I'm sure how it has looked for quite some time. Like a quiet auction, a whisper auction. This is where we whisper and sell stolen gems. Like this is where they used to sell stolen, gems from their safaris to Africa and India and shit. Like, look at this bedroom. Don't nobody want to sleep in this, but like, who wants to live in this? $454 million. Look, listen, if it unless you are a like quadruple billionaire and you just need a tax haven, I mean, God, how much money would it cost to keep this property up every year? Either you one of the wealthiest people on the planet and you just need a tax haven, or you better turn this into some type of a public museum. Let people come and pay to explore the property grounds or get some state grants or some shit. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, this is one of those examples, like how, when, like Michael Jordan, he couldn't sell one of his mansions in Chicago because it was too custom. And it's like, you know, if you're gonna spend this much money on something, then like you probably gonna get something built. But like man, it's just funny. Like when you have so much money that you can't sell things. Like, oh, I'm just gonna have this property forever and I can't really sell it because again, like, bro, look at these rooms. Look at these rooms. Nobody want this. Exactly. Like, what the fuck? Like, and what are you gonna do in a space this large if you're not running something out of it? Man, it's been a lot of people throughout history who have just had way too much money. Way too much damn money. Right, exactly. My second home. My second home. This is how we used to do it. Now let's see. Hmm. Shall we go over this one? How many of them are these? Oh no, there's too many here. Yes, we're gonna do this one tomorrow. We were gonna go down a list of things that people regretted about their divorce, about either getting it or like, stuff like they wish they did it sooner. Ah! Or they wish they could have done things differently, or they wish they didn't. Interesting stuff, but it was a list of like 30 things. And I I gotta go and get this laundry done. I have to do it. I gotta get it done. So that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to chill for a few minutes. So I'm gonna go to the laundromat. Tomorrow we're going to do. I'm gonna stream tomorrow, unless there's like nothing to talk about. Then I'm gonna stream earlier. But tomorrow evening, we're going to do a stream. There is a possibility that I'll move the stream to Thursday or Friday. If I do, I'll let everybody know. I'll just change the timer. Um, but thank you so much for joining. It was good to have Hassan here. It's always good to have Fritza here. Good to see Mara. It's always good when Mike Boy comes through. It's always good when Libby comes through. Oh, Dion, Rike. It's always good when Distracted Gardener comes and says hello. Everybody, Alonzo, thank you so much for joining us today. And let's keep this train rolling.